This is Life of Fred Farming. Chapter 1. Working at Night. Kingy is just your average doll who enjoys doing oil painting. When Fred was about 4 days old, he got Kingy as a free toy at King of French Fries. It wasn't until Fred and Kingy became 5 years old that Fred learned how good Kingy was at art. Most of the time, Kingy did his oil painting when Fred was gone. When Fred was teaching or visiting Edgewood, Kentucky, Kingy would take out his oil paints and begin working. Kingy did his best when it was quiet and he could concentrate on the work he was doing. No radio, no television. During the night when Fred was sleeping was a perfect time for Kingy to paint. When Fred was awake, he liked to talk to Kingy and hug him. That made it difficult for Kingy to pay attention to his painting. Dolls and people often do trashy work when there are too many distractions. Page 14. Small essay. A secret about dolls. Have you ever noticed that many dolls have this big vacant stare? Their big glassy eyes don't seem to be looking at anything. If you ask them what is 8 plus 9, they will just look at you and not say 17. Everyone knows that 8 plus 9 is 17, but many dolls will just sit there. Do you know why? The answer is that many dolls stay up all night. While you are sleeping, they use that quiet time to get their work done. By morning, when you wake up, they are really tired. Some dolls sleep all day with their eyes open. Now you know their secret. Fred was sleeping. He was tired from his trip to Edgewood. It was 1:45 in the morning. Kingy was just finishing up his second oil painting of the night. And we'll go back to the clock. This is 12:45 a.m. It is 1:45 because if you split this clock into 4 pieces, that is considered 1/4 of it. 15 minutes until 1 a.m. He had used a dry brush to make the picture grainy. That gave a dreamlike feeling to the painting. As with many of Kingy's paintings, you are drawn into the painting. You start to think, those stairs seem steep. Where is she going? Why is she holding her back? With great art, you remember it long after you have seen it. But dolls are not nocturnal. Nocturnal means active at night. Dolls are nocturnal. It says, but dolls are not the only nocturnal things. As Kingy worked, he could hear some sounds coming from Fred's backpack. It was a cute little mouse that had sneaked into his backpack when he was on the bus to Edgewood. The mouse came up and stood beside Kingy. He gave the mouse a little pat on the head. Here was an animal that Kingy liked. He was terrified of cats and dogs, but mice were different. Kingy now had a pet of his own. Page 16. Kingy knew that mice eat just about anything. They are not obligate carnivores like cats who must eat meat. Kingy tiptoed over to Fred's desk. He didn't want to wake Fred, who was in his sleeping bag under the desk. Everyone knows that Fred is not a big eater. And the note says, Fred is not a big eater is an example of litotes. Here are other examples of litotes. $1 billion, that's a 1 with 9 zeros, is not a small amount of money. The Pacific Ocean is not a little pond. A toothpick is not a fat log, and a dime is not a heavy coin. Litotes are fun to invent. So everyone knows that Fred is not a big eater. Whenever he gets any food, he sticks it in his pocket and says, for later. Then he puts it in his desk. When Kingy opened the desk, he found 14 pounds of food. There was 5 pounds in one drawer and 9 pounds in the other drawer. Pounds, right there, is an abbreviation for pounds. There were 6 pounds of sandwiches and 8 pounds of other stuff. 5 plus 9 is 14. 6 plus 8 is 14. Please memorize these before you turn the page. There is no hurry. The mouse is enjoying one of Fred's sandwiches. Memorize. 5 plus 9 is 14. 6 plus 8 is 14. Your turn to play. Please take out a piece of paper and write down the answers. Then turn the page and compare your answers to mine. You will learn a lot more that way than just reading the questions and reading the answers. Number 1. Name a value for x. that will make this true? X plus 6 equals 14. Pause the video and answer the question. Number 2, name a value for y to make this true. 14 take away y equals 5. Pause the video and answer the question. Number 3, name a value for z that will make this true. Z is less than 99. Pause the video and answer the question. Number 4, a die has 6 different faces. If you shook 2 dice, because 1 is called a die and 2 are called dice, if you shook 2 dice, how could they add up to 10? What numbers would you need them to land on? Pause the video and answer the question. Number 5, harder question. We know that there were 5 pounds of food in one drawer and 9 pounds in another drawer. We also know that of the 14 pounds of food, 6 pounds are sandwiches. Does that mean that both drawers must contain sandwiches? Look at the picture. There's food in 2 of the drawers. Do they both have to have sandwiches? There's 14 pounds total, 5 pounds in one drawer and 9 pounds in another drawer. Does that mean they both must have sandwiches? Pause the video and answer the question. When you're all finished, make sure you turn the page and compare your answers to the answers in the book, and then turn it into your mom.